Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to Workshop 1 of the Innovate with Ballerina 2025. Innovate with Ballerina is a national level idea hackathon that empowers university students to build creative, real world solutions using the Ballerina programming language. It's a platform to showcase your skills, collaborate with peers, and bring your ideas to life with cutting edge technology. This initiative is organized by the IEEE Student Branch in collaboration with the IEEE Computer Society Student Branch chapter of University of Moratuwa. We are honored to have this entire initiative powered by WSO2, the visionary company behind the Ballerina language. WSO2 has been at the forefront of open source innovation, helping global enterprises accelerate digital transformation. Their contributions to developer-focused tools and open standards continue to shape the future of engineering, and Ballerina is a true reflection of that mission. Before we dive into today's session, let me give you a quick introduction to what the workshop is all about. Focusing on handling data in real-world applications using the Ballerina programming language, you'll explore how to work with data end-to-end, from extracting it from APIs to transforming and storing it, and finally, retrieving it to power your backend systems. This will be your key foundation for the inspiring journey ahead. And to guide us through this exciting journey, we are truly honored to have with us Mr. Gayal Dassanayake, a senior software engineer at WSO2. With his deep technical expertise and real-world experience, Mr. Gayal will walk us through how data is managed, manipulated, and optimized using the Ballerina language, unlocking its true potential in the back-end development. So without further ado, let's warmly welcome Mr. Gayal Dassanayake to take over the session. Over to you.
Good evening, everyone. So, before beginning, let me share my screen. Yeah. So today we are going to talk about data handling with Ballerina, right? Uh, so, so I think I was introduced already, so no need to go there. So before getting introduced into data handling with Ballerina, let's just first get a remind on what Ballerina is, right? So Ballerina is this open source programming language. So what open source means is you can you can see the source code first, right? You can go to our GitHub repository and see the source code of it. And also, if you see something is missing, you yourself can do a code change itself. So let's go to the Ballerina website first, right? So this is ballerina.io. So here, the most important part for us is the word battery is included, right? It says battery is included, rich ecosystem of protocols, data formats, and connectors, right? So Ballerina. So what this what is what battery is included means is everything is packed in the language. So you don't have to depend on third-party libraries and dependencies to get things done. So to achieve some task, everything is packed within the Ballerina language itself. That means the support for different network protocols like HTTP and GraphQL and gRPC, and ability to work with different data formats like JSON, XML, CSV, and hundreds of different that us to talk with different systems. So now onto the data handling, right? What do we mean by data or data handling, right? If you wake up in the morning and take your smartphone and go through an app, or if you go to Instagram or Facebook, and like a post or even do an online transaction, right? All these things are generating data. Uh, I think most of you have heard that we are in the generation of information or information age, and we are in the industry of information technology, right? A lot of the words information and data is thrown around quite a lot. However, this data is robots, right? We need to properly handle them. We need to properly manage them. Otherwise, it can be very messy really quickly. So today what we are going to look at is how Ballerina is helping to handle data well, and how Ballerina is helping to handle data very easily. So there are a set of key aspects when it comes to data handling. Let's quickly go through all of them. So first we have data collection, right? So from uh, from a sensor data inputs to user generated inputs, we have a lot of data that is generated every day or even every second, right? Even in your phone, there are a lot of sensors. Like we have gyroscopic sensors, we have GPS sensors, we have proximity sensors, we have all those things packed in the smartphone. And also, whenever you take the phone and interact with it, a lot of data is generated, right? So these data needs to be collected. And once these data is collected, we need to process them so that it can be used by other people and it is useful in some format. And also these data are not used in most cases, these data are not used in the real time, right? So we need to store these data somewhere else. So that is where data storage comes in. And also we have data transmission. Data needs to be transmitted throughout the world. And we have data access and retrieval. Here, the transmitted and stored data needs to be accessed again to be viewed. And there is data security. This concerns who can access data and which parts of data someone can access. So now let's look into how Ballerina is helping you to handle data. Right? There are specific features that Ballerina has so that you can handle data very easily. So we go through each and every one of them very briefly before starting the workshop, so that whenever you find something in the code that is related to the topics that we discussed, you will remember that this was something that we discussed before. So the first point is modeling data as data. So what we are meaning here is like a lot of data is grouped together in the nature, right? So in this example, you can see that I have this user type, right? In the, let's say in the real world, the user has an identification number, we call it ID, and a name, and a user type, and another set of different fields for use. Right? In Ballerina, we can use this data type called records to map all those elements very easily. So here what I have done is created a new data type called user using a record construct. Here uh, we can, if we have this, let's say we have a spreadsheet or whatever, and it has information about users, we can easily map this spreadsheet data into a array of user type elements. And then we have unions. Uh, if you are familiar with Java and in a lot of programming languages, you know that there are basic data types, right? A lot of data types: int, string, Boolean, decimal, and in some languages you can create different new data types, right? Let's say you can create new classes and create objects with it, or whatever. In Ballerina, there's a special scenario. We can create unions of data types. Right? It's similar to the mathematical definition of unions. So in Ballerina, we have int type and we have string type, and by combining them, we can create the type of int or string. So if I define data value called int or string x, that x can has the value of a integer, let's say 5, 10, or whatever, and also we can have the value of a string. We can assign a string to it as well. So in this case, I have this type called circle and also type called rectangle. Circle has the field of radius and the rectangle has the field of width and height. So by combining them, we can create this type called shape, and that will have both. That can be either circle or a rectangle. And in this example, I have this calculate area function, and depending on if this shape is a circle or a rectangle, I can calculate the area. I think we have calculated the area here. We can calculate the area based on what the actual shape is. Is it a circle or a rectangle? Then another important thing is optionality. So if you have worked with different programming languages, you might know handling null or nil is very hard, right? In a lot of cases, if you have an object, you have to check if it is null before you are doing anything. Otherwise, there will be a null point exception, especially in Java, right? In Ballerina, null or nil is an entirely different data type. So in this case, let's say in this person record, the person has an ID, name, age, and email. And if you can see this here, there's an int and question mark age. Int question mark age. What this means is int the age can be of type int or it can be null. So you have to specifically mention that this age can be null with a question mark if you are going to assign a null value to the age. So this is very convenient because in real world also you might have some places that some of the data is missing or some of the data is null. In some cases, the data is not applicable to this a given scenario, so it can be null. So in these cases, we can use this optionality. Then there is another feature in Ballerina called optional field. So in this case, in the email type, email value, the value is string email question mark. So what this means is this value email can be either present in the record person or not. So there's a slight difference. Once you are familiar with Bell language, you might get the hang of it. The first one says, okay, there is a field called age, and it can be int or null. In the second one, what we're saying is in the person record, there can be an email field or there can be cases where the email field is not present. So moving on, we have declarative data processing. I think most of you are familiar with the different types of programming languages, and we often say that there are imperative programming languages and then there are declarative languages. Right? So the lot of languages that we are dealing with are imperative languages. So let's say that I have a list, right? I need to select one element from the list and do some operation. Or do some operation. Let's say I have a list of people. I need to find Kamal from that and get his age. So what I need to do is in normal languages is I need to write a for loop, right, and check if any element is matching to Kamal, right, using an if condition. If the value is Kamal, I have to return his age. Right? But when it comes to declarative processing, especially in, I think most of you are familiar with SQL, right? In SQL, you don't have to write a for loop to get that. You can say select age from students where name equals comma, right? You will get the age. You don't have to tell how to do it. You just have to tell what you need, and the SQL engine itself will get there. So that feature is there in the Ballerina language itself. So in this example, there is a list of orders, right? We need to calculate the total amount of money that we generate from these orders. So I have defined this value income, and there what I'm trying to do is if you look at the syntax, it is very similar to what SQL is doing. So what I'm going to do is we are asking to get the sum of total prices, and we have defined total price as price into quantity, and we are asking to get the sum of total prices into the income field. And the Ballerina language, the compiler will do the rest and generate the total income for you. So this might seem like a very simple case, but when it comes to complex scenarios, these query expressions, we call them query expressions. So query expressions will come in very handy. Instead of a very complex code, you can just write a query expression to get the details. And then we have the pattern matching, right? So as I mentioned before, in the real world, a lot of data is not clean, right? They are messy. So as a part of data processing, we need to make sure that we group them accordingly, or we find patterns of them, and we take necessary actions accordingly. Right? In a lot of once again, you might be, a lot of you might be familiar with the switch case, right? In switch case, we check if it is first condition, we do something. If it is second condition, we do something like that. Similarly, in Ballerina, we have the match clause, and here we have the match clause is very flexible. So, for example, in this case, we are taking the value, and if the value is 1 and if each subtracted field is false, we are returning move forward. Right? If the value is 2 or 3, we are returning turn. Right? So there is a lot of flexibility within the match clause. So another important part of data processing is data handling is data validation. Right? There are a lot of data that is generated that might not be in the expected formats, or that they might be straight out wrong. This is very familiar to you. Whenever you go to fill a form, they have all these requirements, right? Password should have 10 characters, and it should include one of these symbols, and the email has to have an at. All these things are they are checking. So this checking, if we need to write them manually, we have to like do everything manually. Like you have to check if the length is this much or length is this much. You have to check them manually. Right? Instead, the Ballerina has the inbuilt support for data validation. So in this type record, you can just check if the username, we are asking to check if the username is between 1 and 8, and if the password is at least 4 characters long. Right? So whenever we add this, it will automatically check this, and if it is not according to the given criteria, it will throw an error, or it will return error. So then we have XML and JSON formats. So in a lot of languages, once again, we know that there are different types. We have int, we have float, we have boolean, and we might have a lot of different types to refer to numbers. But in Ballerina, we have JSON and XML data formats. This is really important because in a lot of cases where two different applications talk to each other, we are using JSON. And especially in all systems, uh, before JSON, XML was really popular. So in a lot of applications, even now, XML is also used. In Ballerina, these two are just normal types like int, float, XML, and JSON are also native or first class types. So whenever you get a JSON, you can directly access the fields inside, you can iterate it, and do necessary processing. Similar, it's the same for XML as well. So when it comes to of what is happening with your data. So in this case, you can see that we are talking to the GitHub connector, we are talking to Google Sheets, and we are doing some changes to the value, and all those things are very clear. So rather than reading the code, you can just go through the diagram and understand what's happening. So then, once again, as I mentioned, uh, I don't know if you remember, but in the beginning I mentioned that we need to work with different protocols in order to get data, right? I think most of you are familiar with HTTP. Similarly, you have GraphQL as well. This is a protocol introduced by I think Facebook, if I'm not wrong. So this is also very famous now, and it has a lot of benefits. Also, you can write a simple GraphQL client or service and check it out. So Ballerina has the support for HTTP, GraphQL, gRPC, and different event-driven the message brokers. All those things are supported inbuilt with Ballerina. And also Ballerina supports a lot of different connectors. So let's say you want to send an email using your application, or create a GitHub issue, right? Or send a query to ChatGPT and get a response. All these things can be done because we have a very long list of connectors. I think more than 500 connectors to get these things done, and you just need to write only a couple of lines, 2 or 3 lines to get these things done. And also, as I mentioned before, data storage is also very important in terms of data handling. So we have the support for a lot of SQL and NoSQL databases. So that's all the slides that I have. Then we have to move on to the hands-on session. So before going on to the hands-on session, you can raise any questions if you have. It seems like either everybody has understood everything very clearly, or nobody understood anything. So let's move on. So before going on to the hands-on session, let me go through a set of resources that you might need when you're trying to learn Ballerina. So this the first link. Data-oriented programming is the page of our website that I have based this slide set on. You can go read it if you want a very comprehensive idea of data handling with Ballerina. And then to learn Ballerina concepts thoroughly, you can go to ballerina.io/learn, right? Our learn guide. And if you are someone who is more comfortable with learning with small examples for different features of a language, you can go to the Ballerina by example page and learn by trying out these small examples. And I know a lot of people are very lazy to read, right? Even I was when I was a university student. So in that case, so we have this nice YouTube training series which starts from very simple things and build up to give you a clear understanding of the Ballerina language. The YouTube training series, you can go and check it out in our official YouTube channel as well.
Mr. Gayal, I think we have some questions in the chat.
Oh, I see. Yeah, missed. Give me a second. Okay. Pasindu is asking if I can share the presentation. Yeah, I'll coordinate with the organizers, and then you can get the slide deck. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's all it seems for now. Yeah, even if you get some problems in the middle, just add a chat, and at the end of the session, we'll address all of them, right? So once again, this is another thing that you can get involved with Ballerina. So the first one is the W2 certified Ballerina developer. So you can get certified as a Ballerina developer if you complete this certification. So it has a set of questions. You have to write some code and answer some questions. And once you have successfully completed it, you will be an official certified WSO2 certified Ballerina developer. And also there's this other thing that you can contribute to Ballerina and get some points. And with those points, you can go to our swag store and buy different cool swags, right? So I saw there are some hoodies, there are pen drives, I think, and there are earphones and there are caps with Ballerina logos on it. So if you complete these things, you can get all those um, swag as well. And also, we have the Ballerina Hacktoberfest. If you search Ballerina Hacktoberfest, I think the website now currently shows the 2024 Hacktoberfest. But when the month of October, yeah, that is where when we have the Hacktoberfest. So when it is closed, you can complete tasks, and also then you'll get points with which you can collect different swag as well. So then we have the Ballerina student program, Ballerina student engagement program, and the Ballerina ambassador programs as well. You can contribute that as well. And if you find anything, like this is an open source project, right? So if you find even a documentation mistake or a problem with the language implementation or something, you can go to the our GitHub platform, the Ballerina platform, and raise an issue there. And if you want to ask a question regarding how something is done in Ballerina, anything, you can create a Stack Overflow issue with the Ballerina tag, or you can go to our Discord channel and raise the question there. And to get the latest information about the Ballerina language, you can go to the Twitter or X handle Ballerina Lang, and you can get the latest information about Ballerina language there. So now we have the hands-on session. Right. So before starting the hands-on session, I would like to show you how we can download the Ballerina. Download Ballerina if anyone has not downloaded it yet. So you can go to the ballerina.io website. Let me add it in the chat. Ballerina.io. Right. So here there's a download button. If you click it, you have these three different options. I have already downloaded it, so I'm not going to do it now. Depending on your platform, if you are using Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, you can download it and install it. It's very easy. If you haven't done it, you can do it right now so that you can follow along with me. And once you have downloaded, you have to go to the we are using VS Code to develop Ballerina. So our official plugin, the Ballerina plugin, is in the VS Code marketplace. You have to go to this boxy icon in the VS Code. It says extensions, and type Ballerina in, and you will see that there is this Ballerina extension, and you can click on install, and it'll install all the Ballerina features in the VS Code editor. So if you haven't done it yet, you can do it now. When we are starting the hands-on session, you can follow with me. So in the hands-on session, I'm going to get a sample scenario and implement a backend actually. So with the backend implementation, I'm going to introduce each of these concepts that we discussed before, and see how these qualities are, or these features are really implemented in our language, right? So the sample scenario that I have picked is a delivery tracking system, right? So the box in the purple says delivery tracking client. So it might be in most cases a web front end, right? So we are not dealing with that today. So we are interested in the delivery tracking service today. So what I'm going to do is implement these endpoints of this service. So this is an HTTP service. So this delivery tracking system is something similar to AliExpress, so Amazon, no Daras, right? So they are going to allow vendors to send items, and that will be monitored by the system. So whenever a delivery is arranged, we can post it with the post deliveries endpoint, right? Then there can be like different states of deliveries, right? When the first when a delivery is created, it might be in the pending state, and when it is shipped using the postal service or using any delivery carrier, it is in the transit state, let's say. These are simple sample scenarios, of course. And when the customer receives the actual delivery, it is in the sent or the delivered state. And we can have a get endpoint to retrieve all the different deliveries that we have as well. And whenever the state changes, let's say a pending one is getting shipped, we need to update the state of the delivery. So for that, I have introduced the patch endpoint patch deliveries. And to get the overall summary of the system, how many people are like how many deliveries are in the transit state, how many deliveries are in the delivered state, all those things, and also how much profit or how much revenue we have generated. To calculate all those things, we have the get summary endpoint. And last, we have the monitoring endpoint, so that we can track where the deliveries are, or the deliveries that are in the transit state, where the deliveries are in the real time. To monitor that, we have the monitor endpoint. So the monitor endpoint has some added complexities with the carriers and stuff. So I'm not going to explain that now. I'll explain that later when you are implementing this monitor endpoint, right? So I think everybody has installed VS Code and Ballerina. So this is the source code for the sample scenario that we are going to go through. So this has the entire code base with it. So you can just type in the URL, or you can just scan the QR to go to the GitHub source repo. Okay, so let me go to the source repo. Increase the screen size so that you can see. So this has the Ballerina source code, and also there's a README file. So we are going to follow this README file. There are a set of steps, I think around 12, or yeah, there are 12 steps, and we are going to follow these 12 steps so that we can complete this task, right? Uh, so I need you to, if you can, it will be better if you can follow with me as well. So first I'm going to open a CLI or a terminal. I hope one can see. So I'm going to create a new Ballerina project with the bell new command. So this command allows you to create a new Ballerina project. So a Ballerina project contains a sort of Ballerina files that is used to do some specific task. Bell new, and I'm going to say the name. Then I'm going to say data handling. Well, new data handling, and I'm going to add another small flag to say that what I'm going to create is a service. So we are going to create a service, right? So I'm going to say well new, and the name is data handling. Then the type of the program that I'm going to create is a service, and I'm going to hit enter. So a new project called data handling has been created. And I'm going to open that with the VS Code. So I hope one can see. Let me increase the screen size, the font size. Yeah, I hope one can see now. So we are going to follow each and every step. So for my convenience, I'm going to copy that README file uh, into the newly created repo so that we can easily follow everything. Yeah. So this README file describes that we have, let me go to the preview. So this README file has all the details about the endpoints that we are going to implement. And it says that we need Ballerina installed and Ballerina VS Code extension installed. And we have already completed the first step as well, right? And then we have this, if you, when you created the Ballerina project, we have this service.bal file automatically created. So what we are going to do is first we'll look at what this does and we'll change it a bit so that we can get our get whatever what our requirement is needed. Yeah. So we have this service and that is running on this name, right? So the service is running here and in this listener in the port 9090. So we are going to name the service uh, slash delivery handling, right? So whenever we have this hyphen, we need to escape it with a backslash here. And so we have this delivery handling service that is running on the port 9090, right? And they have given us a pre-built function or the get function as well, right? There's a get method here, right? So, but what we need to implement first is a post method. If you go to the README uh, here, what we need to implement is a post delivery endpoint. So I'm going to change this get into a post, right? Post deliveries. And the value that we need to pass here is also mentioned in the README, right? So the user is creating a delivery and it has these fields. So it has a customer ID, the name ID of the customer who has created this delivery, right? And the email of the customer and the address and the weight. So we can create a new Ballerina record. I'll just create a new file called types.bal so that we don't mix the service and the types. So we can create a new Ballerina record like type. I'll name this as uh, delivery because this is the import by the user. I am going to name it delivery insert record. Like that we can write, right? And then add the field string custom ID and all those things we can manually add. But there's a better way, right? There's a sample JSON given, right? In most of the cases, in the back when the let's say in the front end or the back end, whichever is implemented first, they'll have a JSON of the input whatever they are expecting. So here in this case, they have mentioned that okay, this is the JSON that the front end is sending to you, right? it has customer ID, customer email, address, and weight. So with the command palette open, we can just paste this JSON as a Ballerina record. So I'm going to copy this JSON from the README file, and I'm going to paste it as a record. As you can see, Ballerina paste JSON as record. When I click it, automatically that JSON is converted into a record. Right? So there might be some additional fields that if you don't need, you can remove. Right? So every field is there, and then I'm going to name it as delivery insert. Right? So now that is done. So we can in this service we can name this field delivery insert. So we are expecting a type of delivery insert in the post method here, and I'm going to name it delivery insert as well. Right? So right now it says it returns a string or error. We don't know that yet. So I'm going to erase that. Right? If you go to the README in the step 5, it says that, okay, the real delivery record or the real delivery object has these fields, right? Tracking code, status, cost, customer ID, customer email, weight, address, and delivery date. So from this, we need to generate this in this post endpoint. And same as before, I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go to the types.bel file, and I'm going to paste this as a record. Then again, I'm going to rename this as delivery. So this record is delivery. So if you can see here, the customer ID is present in both cases. The customer email is also present in both cases. The address is also common. The weight is also common. So this delivery insert is a subtype of delivery, right? So there's a cool trick that we can do. We can just erase all the fields that are common in the delivery, right? I'm going to erase customer email, weight, weight kg, and address. Instead, what I'm going to do is there's this feature called inclusion. We can just add delivery insert here, and automatically all these fields will be added here. So this is adding this is same as adding all these fields here. So this and this are both same. This will automatically add all the fields here, right? So now we have done that, and there is this field called status, right? So if you remember, I mentioned that status can have only 3 values: pending, in transit, and delivered, right? But here if we make it a string, it can have actually any value, any string value. That is not acceptable. So for that, we are going to create an enum. So I'm going to define another type called delivery status. Type delivery status, and that is an enum.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a comment asking if you could slow down a little bit. Could you slow down just a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Thanks.
Do you want me to explain something again, or shall I continue with the slow speed?
Yeah, that should be fine. If there's any questions, I think they can put it in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so as I was mentioned, let me just quickly recap. So if anyone missed anything, so we have this delivery insert record, and that has all these types, right? So these are provided by the front end. The customer ID, customer email, address, and weight of the package, all these things are provided by the front end. And we internally we have this delivery record, right? We need to generate the other fields using these fields. That's what we are going to do in this service.bell post deliveries endpoint. Right? So then we were discussing about each and every field, and we have this enum field as well, right? So this enum field, the delivery status, with delivery status, what we're trying to do is restrict the status values into only 3 different values. So one is pending, right? Another one is in transit. So I'm going to assign different values to these as well. Pending, sorry, I think I have to do enum here. Enum delivery status, pending, in transit, and then delivered, right? So so uh, so this records map into the real world data types that we find. So this is what I mentioned in the slide set as representing data as data, right? So we have these actual data, and we are representing them as they are. So then we can change the status not into a string but into delivery status type, right? So the status is of delivery status type. So that means we can have only these 3 different values. Yeah. So then we have the decimal value for the total cost. We need to generate these things, right? So when so then we have this delivered date field. So this delivered date is not applicable as long as we haven't delivered the item, right? So the delivered date comes when the state of the delivery changes into delivered, then only we have the delivered state. When it is pending or when it is in transit, we don't know when will the item get delivered. So in this case, we can mark this delivered state as optional. This is an optional field. So even with these values, the delivery can be there. The delivered date might not be there in some ones. In some values, delivered date there might be there. So that's the idea. And also we can use, yeah, I think everything is clear now. So we can use constraints on here as well, right? I'm going to use some random constraint, but you can add constraints to match each and every field if you want, right? Let's say in our system, we enforce that the customer ID should be at least 5 characters long. So the custom ID should be at least 5 characters long, and at most it should be 8 characters. So the ID, the custom ID should be 5 to 8 characters long. So that I can denote by using this annotation called constraint colon string. As you can see, like you don't have to remember everything, right? If you just start typing constraint, this one is getting suggested, and you click colon, right? And there are a set of values. So since this is, I'm going to add this annotation into a string field, I just type string. When you start typing string, it is getting suggested. You open bracket, and you can suggest min length. So the minimum length is 5, the maximum length is 8, like 10 or whatever the value you want to can give. So now that is clear. Yeah. And also we can make another thing like in the beginning, right? When you are creating a delivery, the status is almost surely pending. The status must be pending, right? When we create a delivery, after that it transitions into in transit, and then it transitions into delivery. So we can set a default value here, right? So by this, what we are meaning is if the user doesn't specify what the status is, we will take pending as the status automatically. So our data, the records are created, right? So now we need to convert the data from this delivery insert field into the delivery field. So here you can see that the additional field, the first one is the tracking code, right? So as the tracking code, I am going to generate a UUID. I'm going to create the tracking code, and I need the UUID, right? Let's say you don't know how to create a UUID. One thing you can do is you just type UUID, right? Then it suggests that okay, Ballerina, there's a package. This is a package suggestion, right? So there's a package called Ballerina/UUID. If I hit enter, it'll automatically get added to the file, right? To see what are the functions that are in the UUID package, you can add the colon here. So there are 4 different functions in the UUID package. So one thing is create random UUID, and all those things are there, right? So you can just click one of them, and if you want the definition, you can hover over it, and you will get a nice definition of it as well, what this function does and what are the parameters, what is the return type. So in here you can see that this returns a string value, and it doesn't accept any parameters. So I'm going to create a random UUID and assign it as the tracking code. So then we have the status, right? So this is here we have by default mentioned that the state is pending. If you want, we can mention that the delivery status is pending again as well. No harm. So then we need to calculate the cost, right? So I think in the README they have given a formula. See, cost is equals to the base cost plus weight kg into cost per kg. I'm just going to copy it for the convenience and paste it here. So now whenever you are developing something, it's quite natural to get errors. So you can go through one by one of these errors and resolve them. So it first says that undefined symbol cost. So we have not defined a variable properly for the cost, right? So I'm going to say this is a decimal type field. So that error went away. So then we look into the next one. So there is no symbol called base cost. And here it says there is no symbol called weight kg. And also there is no symbol called cost per kg. So weight kg, we know where it comes from, right? It is inside the delivery insert. So if you type delivery insert and just put the dot value, you will get all the suggestions, right? And you can select weight kg from here. So, but these values we don't know. Let's go to the README and see what they suggest us to do. So it says define base cost and cost per kg as configurables. So configurables are also one of the cool features in Ballerina, where you don't know the values of the base cost and the cost per kg when you are developing the program, right? They might be added later, right? So and also they might differ. They might be different later on as well, right? Some of these configurables might be things that you cannot pack into your software. They might be too secret to add that, or they might be often changing, let's say. So in these cases, you can define configurable variables. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to type configurable, right? There's a keyword called configurable, and I'm going to make this a string, sorry, a decimal base cost, right? So if you want, you can assign a default value here, or you can add a question mark here to say that we need to get this configurable in the runtime or when the program is running. Right? If you mention a value here, that will be a static value. We can't change it later. So similarly, I'm going to add another configurable of type decimal, and that is cost per kg. And I'm going to add another question mark to say that there is no default value, right? Now if you run this program, let's see what happens if you run this program. Right, with the green arrow button, I ran this program. So it says compile in the source, and there are a couple of errors, right? So it says value not provided for the configurable variable base cost. So we need to provide values here, right? So there are a couple of ways to provide values, but you can provide them as environment variables as well. But the most often used way is you can define a config.toml. Name is config.toml with C capital, and define them here, right? I think guys, as you can see, if you hover over this, you get this bulb icon, and there's an option to add all to config.toml. If you click it here and go back to config.toml, it will be automatically added here. Right? You can just give a value. So I'm going to say the base cost is 200, and cost per kg is let's say 50. Right? So now we have calculated the cost as well. So if you go to the types here, so we have calculated every value that is required. We are not going to set a delivered date because we don't know the delivered date yet, because the package is in the pending state yet, right? So I'm going to create a new delivery record. I'm going to, so this is I have defined the type of the record here as delivery, and I'm going to create a new instance of that delivery record. I'm going to name it delivery, and I'm going to add all the fields. So I can do delivery insert dot what are the fields? I think we have custom ID, delivery dot email something, email insert dot address and rate kg. And then it will complain that there are a set of fields missing, right? So we need to pass this properly. So first ID is delivery insert dot custom ID. My email is this, address is this, weight kg is delivery insert dot weight kg, and if the name of the field and the name, so the value, the variable is tracking code, and what we are expecting is also tracking code, right? So instead of providing like this tracking code, we can just say that, okay, we can just pass tracking code and it will automatically identify that tracking code is this value. Then we have status, then we have cost, right? We should now all the errors are gone. So we can do this, of course, but there's a easier way to do this. So if you can see that we had to type delivery insert dot again for 4 times, right? Instead of this, we can use the spread operator. That means these 4 values we can just put inside the delivery field. So we can type just 3 dots and delivery insert. So this way, all the values in the delivery insert field, the record will be getting added to the delivery record. So this is called the spread operator. I think if you are familiar with JavaScript, this is there in JavaScript. I'm sure that in other languages also that is present. So now we have created the delivery record, and we need to save this somewhere, right? Now that we have created it, we need to save it somewhere. So usually we can save it in a database, but for this case, in some cases, we can save it in the memory as well for some specific cases. So for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to save it in a Ballerina table, right? So how I'm going to define a Ballerina table is, so Ballerina table is sort of like an actual SQL table. It has an ID or similar to the primary key. We have a key in the table. So I can define table, and the table will have values of delivery, right? So I'm going to represent it here like this. And the primary key or the key would be the tracking code, right? And I'm going to name it delivery table, and we can initiate it like this, right? So as you can see, there is an error here. Let's go and see what this error is. Okay, it says that it should be a read-only value, right? So this is because this is a primary key or key. It needs to be no, it shouldn't be modifiable, right? So it asks us to make it read-only. So I'm going to go here in the delivery and make this tracking code read-only. So this is read-only. Once you have created this record, you can't, if you try to do this, right? Delivery dot uh, tracking code equals, let's say 123. So it shows an error. I cannot update read-only record. So by making a field read-only, it restricts the modifiability of the record. Yeah, now we have created the record, and we can just put it in the table, right? Delivery table dot put, I think. Yeah, put delivery, right? And if you want, we can return it to the user as well. So we are returning this to the user. So now again there is an error, right? It says incompatible types expected null, right? We call it nil in Ballerina. So this is nil. So there the function didn't expect any to return anything, but we are returning delivery type value. Right? That is what the compiler is complaining about. So we just have to add the returns. So this function returns the delivery record. So now everything is fine. So we can try it out here itself. So this is one of those visualization features, right? If you go to here and click the try it button, so we haven't run this service, right? It asked do we need to run this service, and if we click run, so if you can see in the bottom, it's starting the service, and there's a try it view popped up. So here you can say US001, whatever the fields, and I'm going to pass some dummy values, right? Sample.com. I'm going to pass some random value, and the weight is, let's say, 10. And you can run this. And as you can see, generated delivery will be returned, right? The cost is calculated, the tracking code is added, and everything is there. So it's easy as that. So I hope everything is clear up until this point, right? I'll give you a couple of minutes. If you missed anything, if you need to type in something, you can type it now. And if you have any questions, you can raise them as well. So the next endpoint we have is get deliveries, right? But it is a very simple one compared to the other endpoints, so I'm going to skip that. You can try it on your own with the instruction by following instructions, and if you face any problems, you can go to the GitHub repository and check it out for yourself how it is done. So next I'm going to implement the patch method, right? Similar to this one, you can add a new resource function. You type this resource function, there are a set of suggestions, right? I'll just type this one in, and the method is a patch, and the name is again deliveries. Yeah, patching the deliveries so that this is used to update the status of an endpoint, right? Status of a delivery. So along with that, we are passing the delivery the tracking ID, right? So if you are passing this as a path parameter, you can just add a slash, and so this is something like this, right? If you are calling delivery, let's say in the local host, if you're running this in the local host, 9090, delivery handling, slash deliveries, slash, then you have the delivery, let's say delivery ID, like something like this. So this is called a path param. So to pass something like this, you need to have two square brackets, and type whatever the value that the user is passing. Here, the user is passing the tracking code that we have defined here, right? This is the user need, if the user needs to update the status of a delivery, they need to pass this tracking code. So all these things you can like how to pass a path parameter, how to pass the body, how to pass query parameter, all those things. If you go to Ballerina by examples page and search for REST, and you can find all these different examples on how to do these things. And also the details required to update the status also should be passed. So they should be passed as a an object, as a body, right? So that is also, I think, given in the readme. So here in the step 10 says we need to pass these fields. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to copy this and go to the types.bal and use this paste JSON as record option. I'm going to rename it delivery patch, right? The status is not string, as you know. It should be of the type delivery status, similar to here in here, right? And we have the delivered date. Once again, this can be optional, right? So the delivered date is only valid if the status is delivered. So we go to service again. So we should get a delivery patch type object or record. So first we need to find what delivery we are dealing with, right? So we have all these deliveries in the delivery table. From that we need to find the actual delivery equals the delivery table. So I'm going to get the value because the tracking code is used as the primary key, right, or the key. So I'm going to use this, right? Then, but it still complains about some error. So it says expected a type of delivery, but what we are returning is delivery or null. The question mark says delivery or null. So this can be null. So why this can be null is, let's say the user gives a wrong tracking code, right? that tracking, there is no delivery corresponding to the tracking code. So in that case, this table returns a null value. So what you need to do is add a null value here, right? So this delivery value can be delivery or null, right? So if delivery is null, this is how we say check what the actual type is, right? This can be delivery or null. We are checking if it is null now. So if it is null, we are returning HTTP not found, right? This delivery is not found. We are returning that. Okay, once we add it here, we need to add it here as well, like this. Okay, we are returning that. So now we know for sure that if the code goes beyond this line 34, we know for sure that the delivery ID is a valid delivery ID and there is a delivery for it. So we are going to update the delivery status. Status equals delivery fetch dot status. Right? So we are going to update the delivery status based on the new delivery status. And if the delivery fetch dot status is delivered, right? So we need to update the delivered date only if the delivery status is delivered. So we are going to do that now. Delivery dot delivered date equals delivery fetch dot delivered date. I hope you can understand that if only it is delivered, we are going to update the delivered date. And then I have added something so that about to learn about how to deal with a connector. So here what we are going to do is we are going to send an email here notifying that okay your package has been updated to new state. So whenever if you have ordered anything in AliExpress, you get a notification. Okay, then package is with the vendor now. The package is packed and it's in, let's say, in China, and now it is in the customs, and now it is in the Colombo area. So like that you get notification, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to send an email to the customer. So we already have the customer email in the delivery fields. We have the customer email here. So we are going to use that to send an email. So after, let's say, we sent an email, you can just return the delivery, the modified delivery to the front end. So here, once again, we have to add the delivery type to the return types, because we either return HTTP not found or we return the delivery, right? So we return the HTTP not found or the delivery. We have to specifically mention that here. So now we will get onto the email part, right? So I'm going to just add a function here saying send email, right? So function send email, send mail. I don't know what the parameters are yet. I don't know what the return type is. I just wrote this method, right? So I don't know even how to what to do here. Right? I don't know what are the connectors that we can use. So there is a simple solution for that. Yeah. You can go to central.ballerina.io. I will share the link with you in the chat. So this is where all of our Ballerina packages reside, right? This is like if you have used Maven Central, or in different programming languages, we have this different places where all the packages are stayed, right? So I just go to the Ballerina Central and type something, right? I'm going to type Gmail because I want Gmail connector, something to do with Gmail. And here I find the Gmail connector. So if you scroll down, like it says how you can create all the tokens necessary for the connector using the Google authentication and all those things. I'm going to skip that. You can follow that and create the necessary tokens. So it says import the module. So I'm just going to import the module in the top. Right. Just copied and pasted. And let's see. Okay. It says we need to create a new client. I'm also going to copy that as well. Right. So there are three different configurables. The top section of the central page is explaining how we can get these configurables, right? So and then we need to create a new Gmail client, right? In the Gmail client, we need to pass these values. So I just blindly copied everything from the central. And if you can see, there is a code section for sending emails as well. I'm going to copy them again here. Within the send mail function, I just copied everything. Okay, there are a couple of errors. You can find what's missing, right? Okay, the recipient, right? So we know the recipient email. And also we need to change the body. So what I'm going to do is, here I'm going to pass the delivery object. Here, then pass delivery object. Right? The recipient is delivery dot customer email. So we can change this to package status notification or something. Status notification. And here also there's another error. So this check keyword is also, I might have used this before. Right? Yeah, I have used it somewhere else as well. Yeah, what this check keyword does is, in Ballerina, the errors are also type, right? In similar to int or string, error is also type. So whenever if this method fails, right? This is trying to send a message, send an email. If this fails, it will return an error. If we remove this one, we have to write, okay, it will return this gmail.message or error, right? So if it is an error, we have to handle it again. If send result is error, we have to handle it again, right? We can send log a message or whatever, right? So what if we don't want to handle it here, right? Similar to in Java, we just throw it if we don't want to handle it. Similar to that, we can add the check keyword, right? What it will do is, it will check if the return value of this is error, and it will return it from this function as well. So it might be a bit complex for you right now. You can just go to the Ballerina website and search for check keyword and understand what's going on. So if this returns an error, I'm just going to blindly return that from this send mail function as well. So I need to add returns error here. Error or null. It might return an error or null. Right. There is another error here as well. Using close brace token. I think we don't need a semicolon here. Yeah. And you can, in the body, we can mention something like package, and you can use this dollar and the curly brackets to specify any variables. I think in a lot of programming languages this is supported, so it's not something unusual for you. So delivery dot, I'm going to use the tracking code is in is now in this state, right? So I'm sending this email to the user, right? So this is what we are doing in the send mail function. So as you can see, I am not using the send result function, the value here, right? if I'm not using it here, I can just use an underscore, say to the Ballerina language, okay, just ignore the return value here, right? There was a return value here, but I'm not using it, right? So I can just have an underscore here and say that, okay, I don't care what the return value is. If it is an error, of course return it. If it is not an error, I don't care what the value is. So just ignore it. So to say that, I just use an underscore, right? So now we have completed the mail sending part as well. Here you can see that there is a error again, right? So because we are returning error or nil. Right? If it is nil, it's okay. But because we are returning an error as well, I'm just going to add check here as well. And in the return types, we might have error here. So this is the patch, right? So we'll I think you understood everything, but if you couldn't follow up, don't worry. You can just go to the GitHub and understand. You can just first try it on your own. If you can't do it on your own, you can go to the GitHub and try it yourself. Yeah. So I'll quickly do the get summary endpoint, the 11 one. And so this is where we are going generating the overall summary of our platform, right? The total deliveries, how many total deliveries we have done, and what is the average cost per delivery, and the how much in each and every state is what we are calculating. So this is where the query expressions come in handy. The source function is a get and summary, right? So once again, we have this JSON, right? So I'm going to use this quickly to generate the required Ballerina record. So this is summary. So as you can see, this is a very important, very cool thing, right? So here I just pasted it and it generated two different records. So we have summary, right? Inside it we have total deliveries and average cost, and there's another record inside that. If you go to the original JSON, the README, you can see that total deliveries are there, average cost is there, and then there is another nested level, right? So this is modeled as another record that is inside a record. So here again, so here we have the summary record, and inside that we have the status breakdown record. So so for the so we need to construct each and every of these fields in this summary function. So the first one is easy, the total deliveries, right? Total deliveries is the length of the table, because we have a table and its length is the total delivery count that we have. Table dot get dot length, right? Then we have the average cost, right? For here, we can use the query expression. So what I'm going to do is, for I'm going to get the cost field of each and every record in the table, right? In delivery table, I'm going to get the cost field. We are getting it like this. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use this collect keyword. I'm going to collect the average of cost, right? So what I'm doing is, for all the records, or for all the deliveries in the delivery table, I'm calculating the cost of getting the cost of all the values, and I'm calculating the average value of the cost, right? So there's a mistake. It's not for, it's from, right? Similar to SQL, it's from. And there's an error here. That is because, like, let's say the total deliveries is 0, right? So when you're getting the average, we can't divide by 0, right? So that is why there is an error here. It says decimal or null. right? So we are going to add a default value if the total deliveries is 0. We are going to add 0 as the average cost. Can just add add d to a value to denote that this is a decimal type, right? Otherwise, it will think it is an int or it is a float or whatever. So similar to that, we can generate the other values as well. So we need to calculate the pending count, right? Here we need to calculate the count of packages that are in the pending state. This is what we are going to calculate here. The pending count, or let's say just pending, from once again similar to the previous one. Tracking code first, going getting those two in delivery table. Then I'm going to add a where clause. I think you are familiar with where clauses because they are you find them in SQL queries as well, right? Where, right? So where the status, right? Sorry, here not cost but status. Where status equals pending. Where status equals pending, and then you collect the count of it. You count the number of elements that are in the pending state. Collect. Let me get this to another line so you can see clearly. Collect count of tracking code, let's say. So similar to this, you can count the in transit and delivered count as well and return the overall summary. So I'm going to leave it here because we are running out of time and go on to the next one, right? So I hope you got the hang of it, right? I added this endpoint so that you can see the value of query expressions, and instead of if we were to calculate, let's say, the average cost, we had to iterate everything and we had to add everything into a value variable, and after iterating everything we have to divide it by the number of deliveries, right? We have to divide it by total deliveries, or else in the pending case we have to iterate everything and see if the status is pending by adding an if condition. If status is pending, we add it to a counter, right? After iterating everything only we will get the pending value. So this is much easier, and it relieves you of the burden to write the logic by yourself. You can say what you want and it will get you exactly that. So this is the summary endpoint. So then at the last we have the monitor endpoint, right? If you remember, I mentioned that I'll get back to this monitor endpoint in the slideshow. I hope you can see the delivery tracking system diagram. So here, once again to recap, the monitor endpoint shows the actual location of each and every delivery in the real time, right? Similar to when you order an Uber, you can see the location of the Uber where it is now, like 5 kilometers away or 15 minutes away from you, right? So similar to that, the admins of this delivery tracking system might want to know where each and every package is, right? They can display it in a big screen in their office and see what's going on and detect anomalies and all that, right? So just to make the case a bit more complex, what I have done is I assume that they are dealing with two different carriers. So carriers is something like this, right? Let's say AliExpress or Amazon is delivering products to Sri Lanka, right? They are not going to use their employees to deliver things. They are either going to use the Sri Lankan post office postal service, or they are going to use some kind of carrier, right? The carrier's duty is to get the distribute the things in Sri Lanka, right? There are two carriers. One carrier is a bit modern, a new one, right? They have an application and they are using in this application. What they are doing is both the companies are uploading a file to a file server, and it has the latest location of different packages, right? So the carrier A is new and it has a new application and it is using JSON. The carrier B application is was written a bit earlier, like let's say 10 or 15 years ago, and they are still using XML, right? But we have to work with both those types and send the monitoring details as a JSON, right? So this is the use case. So we have a JSON received from carrier A and XML returned from carrier B. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to assume that both these files are in our file system, and I'm going to read both of them and convert them into a Ballerina record first, and then return them to the delivery tracking client as a JSON record, JSON array, of course. So this is how we are going to do that. So in here you can see that we are given the a sample JSON provided by carrier A. Also, we are given a sample XML provided by carrier B. So similar to what I have done in previously, I'm just going to copy this value to create necessary records for us, right? Because we are dealing in records. So whatever the data type that we are receiving, we are converting it into a record, and then we are dealing with it. So we don't have to actually manually convert it to a record. Ballerina under the hood converts it automatically to a record for you. So I'm going to use paste XML, not JSON here, but paste XML as record. As you can see, it created two different records, because here in the README, it says that we have this trackings array, and inside we have tracking values. So there are three different packages, and three different packages are getting tracked in this case, right? So I'm also going to add this into a directory called resources, right? Creating a resources directory, and under that we have carry a.json, because carry A is providing a JSON, right? And then carry b.xml. So I'm going to copy this into the XML file, and I'm going to copy the JSON into the carry a.json. So carry A is providing us a JSON, and B is providing this XML. So in this, so yeah, we need to implement the endpoint here. Is similar to resource summary. Resource function get monitor. So I'm going to return a list of tracking, right? A different list of tracking. This is what I'm going to return. So it should be returns then S. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read from the carry a.json. So for that, I'm going to use IO. If you just type by IO and put enter, we'll import the IO method, and then I'm going to use file read JSON. This method, if you give the path here, as you see, if you give the path here, it will automatically read the JSON as a JSON, right? So I'm going to give the path here. So resources. Okay, the return type will be a JSON. Okay, so I need to add a check here. and I return error here as well, because this might, if the file is not there, or if the JSON is invalid, it might return an error. Similar to that, so now we have the JSON and we need to convert this into a tracking array. So this is how I'm going to do this. We have this JSON data library. So I have imported that, and there is a pass as type function. So for into this, I'm going to pass this carry a JSON. So this doesn't know what type they need, it needs to pass into, right? So I'm going to mention that I need an array of tracking, right? I'm going to say name it trackings. So what this does is it looks at what type this thing is assigned into. So it is assigned into an array of tracking. So what this JSON.data.pass as type does is it gets this JSON and it converts this into this tracking array automatically. Right? You don't have to go and do anything. It just looks at this JSON and look at this array, and it will convert this into an array automatically. So similar to that, we can read the XML. Here, say B XML. Right? Similar to that, I'm just going to copy it and paste. Not IO file read JSON, it's file read XML like this. And it's carry a B XML. And again, so since this has this trackings value here, I'm going to assign this into this trackings field, and I'm going to give XML trackings, let's say. So similar to JSON data, we have this XML data module. Right? You can use that as pass as type, and you can pass carrier BXML here. Right? So I have this trackings which contains all the trackings that you read from carrier A, and trackings that you read from carrier B here. Right? So you need to put everything into an array and return it to monitor all the trackings. So I'm going to do this, right? Trackings dot put, I think push, yeah, should push, and I can do a spread like this, right? XML trackings. So here what I have done is yeah, XML trackings dot tracking. So here because this if you go to trackings, it has this array called tracking, right? So what I'm doing is from this XML trackings, you get the array inside, and you are going to spread that using the spread operator I mentioned before. So then in the end, you just return the trackings. So as you can see, now we have successfully read a JSON and an XML, and in the end we have extracted out all the converted into an array of tracking and returned it. So this will be returned as a JSON output using this endpoint. So in each and every endpoint, so in the post deliveries, we learned how to write an endpoint, very simple stuff, and how to deal with records and how to convert things into a record and all those things. And in patch, we found how to use a connector and send an email. In summary, we learned how to write query expressions. In monitor, we learned how to deal with reading different types of formats and converting them into Ballerina records, and again, if you want, you can convert them into an XML or a JSON as well. So this is what I was intending to demonstrate to you today. Once again, if you have any questions, I can answer them now. Yeah, a couple of people are asking for the recording. I think you can facilitate that, right?
Yeah, we'll be sharing the recording after the meeting.
Okay.
Mr. Gayal, we have some questions in the chat. I hope it's visible to you as well.
Yeah, yeah. So what are some of the best practices when working with APIs and data transformation in Ballerina? So, so one of the things I can think of now, right now is there's this concept that accept everything and return, like accept a lot of things, right? So the input that we receive, we must always think that they can be corrupted and they can be invalid. So we should be open to that, right? And then we must be open to having a different, like we must be open to having not having the best format in the data, right? So I don't know if you have noticed when I'm typing a record, like if you go to the types.bell here, when I'm typing records, I have added this pipe mark at the beginning and the end, right? So in some cases, the actual data we have in the data we have, let's say JSON, there might be some additional, like in some cases there are like hundreds of different fields in the JSON, but we only need 3 or 4, right? If we add these pipe marks, it means in Ballerina what it means is we only allow to pass these values. So we can't pass additional values. So when you are accepting some value from let's say a front end or another API, we must be always open to having additional values. So in this case also I just added pipe marks, but ideally they shouldn't be there, right? So we must be open to having additional values. But when you are returning, we must always make sure that we are returning a very strict value, right? When you are returning, we must not return any additional values. We must just adhere to the standards that are we must return only the values that we need, and they must be in the proper format. So this is something that we should adhere to, right? And also when developing APIs, what else? Um, so just the normal stuff, right? So we must make sure that we are right the methods. For example, I have a lot of get in this example. I have different methods, right? I have a get method, a lot of get methods, a patch method, a post method. So when you are implementing this method, we must make sure that this function is actually a post, right? If I do a post here and actually what's happening is just a get, that might be wrong. And that might give the impression to whoever using these endpoints, a wrong impression to them as well. And also there is this access modifier called default in Ballerina. Resource function, we can do a default one. So what this does is it accepts all types of requests. It can be a post, get, put, and all those things, right? If there is no only in very specific conditions, this is okay. Otherwise, this is a very bad usage of methods. So we have added this because in some specific cases we need that, but often we don't need that. Let me think of if I think of anything, I'll let you know. For now, I just can think of those two.
Mr. Gayal, I think it'll be easier if I direct some of the questions in the chat for you, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the questions is, how often does Ballerina get updates? What's the release cycle like?
So Ballerina gets like there are like I don't know if you are familiar with the Senvo updates. So if you are familiar with a lot of even in your phone updates, they have these three different numbers, right? X dot Y dot Z, something like that, right? So the first digit refers to major updates, then the second digit refers to the minor updates, and the third digit refers to patch updates, right? So in Ballerina, uh, as soon as we detect a patch a bug or unintended use case, we release a version. So otherwise, it is very based on the new features are very based on the requirements. So right, if we have a lot of new requirements from customers and from third parties, we might do a couple of releases in a year. So otherwise, if we don't have any new updates to be done, so it will be maybe one update or even less in a year. So there's another question. Yeah. Can you explain how Ballerina handles JSON and XML data differently compared to traditional languages like Java or JavaScript? So let's say in Java, what you have to do is like in Java, I don't think if I'm not mistaken, the native pure Java doesn't allow you to work with JSON very easily, right? So one of the popular libraries that we use in Java is something called JSON, and that is a third-party library written by Google. And there also what we have to do is we have to cast that JSON into a customly created class, and we need to like explicitly say, okay, get this JSON as a string, and then we can pass it into a class. So if you saw the example, all these values coming from the user, like here this delivery insert and this delivery patch, all these things are JSONs, right? But you don't even feel that they are JSONs because under the hood, Ballerina automatically translates them into Ballerina records, right? Even if you didn't want to translate them into Ballerina records, you can just use a JSON type and map it into a JSON type, because Ballerina supports JSON and XML types by default, right? Similar to writing int x equals 5, you can write JSON ABC equals and write a JSON there. So this is what it means to support JSON and XML by default. That's all the questions, right? Did I miss anything?
I think we are done with all the questions.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for your attention, and of course, once again, if you have any questions, you can go to Discord and Stack Overflow and raise them there, and our team will be very helpful in responding to them.
What an inspiring session that was. Thank you, Mr. Gayal, for those insightful ideas you've shared with us. We are deeply grateful for the time, expertise, and inspiration that you brought to this session. Your guidance has truly enriched our understanding of how Ballerina can be used to handle real-world data challenges, and we're sure our participants are walking away with valuable knowledge they can carry forward in the competition. On behalf of the IEEE Student Branch and the IEEE Computer Society Student Branch chapter of the University of Moratuwa, we are pleased to present you with a token of appreciation recognizing your contribution to this workshop and the success of Innovate with Ballerina 2025. Thank you, Mr. Gayal Dassanayake, once again for delivering an exceptionally informative session and for addressing each question with clarity and expertise. Before we wrap things up, there's a special announcement to make. We would like to inform you that the extended deadline for the registrations will officially close on the 23rd of July at 11:59 p.m. So if you haven't registered for the Innovate with Ballerina 2025 competition yet, this is your final opportunity to make sure you complete your registrations before the deadline. Additionally, submissions will open on 24th of July and further details regarding the submission process will be communicated in due course. Before we conclude, let's take a moment to capture this special occasion with a virtual group photo. If you feel comfortable, please turn on your camera so we can all share in each other's smiles. I think everyone's ready for the picture. All right, thank you everyone. Thank you all for joining Workshop 1 of Innovate with Ballerina 2025. Your enthusiasm and curiosity made this session truly inspiring. We're very excited to see you and see the ideas you will bring to life. This is Senaya Bandara, officially signing off from Workshop 1 of Innovate with Ballerina 2025. Until next time, stay curious, stay motivated, and keep innovating. Good night.